Hi all, my name is Charlotta and I work for Carbo, a biochar producer in Central Valley, California. We recently enlisted to Pura the Earth marketplace and started selling CO2 removal credits through their trading system. In this talk, we'll talk about the process of accreditation. But first, what are CO2 removal credits and why might you consider trading carbon removal attributed to the biochar you produce? CO2 removal credits refer to verified carbon removal credits that are sold to companies or individuals, and currently only in a voluntary market. For the avoidance of doubt, it's better to talk about CO2 removal or carbon removal credits rather than, for example, carbon credits or offsets, as those might be confused for the more traditional permit-based trading mechanisms such as we have in the EU or in California. Carbon removal credits essentially help finance biochar production. While the prices might not currently be high enough to cover production costs, they are still quite high, much higher than traditional carbon offsets, and will potentially play a huge part in business viability. The best, or I might even say the only way to get started, is to get enlisted to a verified marketplace, as buyers would typically need that extra validation and security that comes from official accreditation. I guess lucky for us, carbon removal is a hot market right now. We know of several initiatives that have recently launched or are in the process of launching. None of these are currently ICROA compatible though, which might be a hindrance to future market growth. I think Pura the Earth is the first one that has developed its own methodology for certifying biochar producers, which is why we're going to focus on our experience in getting accredited. Pura the Earth is a new marketplace. It's based out of Finland, and I think we were actually the first US-based carbon removal partner to the service. In addition to biochar, they also certify, for example, wooden building elements. So to become a biochar supplier on Pura the Earth, you need the following. Your material needs to pass the European Biochar Certification Equivalency testing. There's a Eurofins laboratory in Germany that does this, and we paid about $1,300 for the package. Secondly, you also need a professional life cycle analysis of your product. Pura lists their partners on their website, but we actually asked them if we can work with our own partner, which they agreed to. You need to make sure that your LCA partner gets well acquainted with their methodology, and it's also useful if they have some understanding of the biochar technology or are open to an iterative process of you needing to explain the system to them. You of course need to meet all the Pura requirements. Most importantly, pay attention to the origin of your feedstock and where you sell your biochar, the sort of end of life of that biochar. You cannot sell your biochar for any energy or combustion applications, for example. Additionally, Pura has requirements with regard to gas flaring and heat utilization of your system, so pay close attention and talk about it with the Pura team. Finally, there is an audit. The auditor inspects all your documentation as well as your production system. Because of the pandemic, we did this step fully remotely. It's good to understand that the Pura team will be closely involved in the onboarding process. A few other tips from our experience is to, start keeping a customer register early. As we're a pre-commercial operator, this was definitely a shortcoming for us. We needed to manually sort of trace back orders to batches, which was not ideal. We needed to provide email communication to the auditor, sort of proving the end of life of our biochar that went to our customers. Moving forward, we're going to update our terms of service to directly include aspects that are needed for this verification. And this way, we hopefully don't have to bother our customers with deposit attestations at a later date. So I just wanted to say that I know many of you are contemplating and are interested in the possibility of carbon removal credits and the additional revenue streams that this might generate. And basically, we've been very happily surprised by the interest in the biochar credits that we've received and have definitely met all the targets we had going into this experiment. It took us several months to complete the accreditation, and we learned a lot. But I do hope that our experience shed some light on the process and shows that it can be done, even for a relatively small operator like us. I think we'll be writing more about our experience on our blog. You can follow us on Medium or on our Twitter, or we have a community collective called Carbo Collective that you can sign up on our website. I also included my email there. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have regarding CO2 removal credits and how to get started with them. Thank you all.